Think and Grow Rich is the Bible that every self-development book comes from, and talks about, I think it's chapter 1 or 2, you have to have a definition of your goal, a definitive purpose in life, a burning desire. Or if you don't have that defined, then your ability to be inconsistent is going to be a lot greater than being consistent. Once you know what it is that you're playing for, who you're playing for, what you're inspired to do, and you define it, like you literally know it, then the only thing left there is belief, right? Because people can only develop something, build something to the level they believe it can be built. The minute you lose belief in something is the minute you become inconsistent. It's the minute you start telling yourself a story that is worse than it is, to let yourself off the hook, to stop, to quit, or justify what you're doing. So I would say that, yes, consistency is everything in life. Consistency, persistency, or whatever. But the reason that a lot of times we're not consistent and persistent is because we don't have a defined definition of inspired action, a goal. And then the second thing is we don't have a high level belief in ourselves or what we're doing. So I would think your key to your success is not only consistency, but I would say certainty in where you're going. So if you could develop one thing, and there used to be an old saying, fake it till you make it. It doesn't mean go buy a bunch of nice stuff to act like you have and put yourself in debt. It's okay. If you're not certain, how would you act if you were certain? How would you talk if you were certain in the direction you're going? How would you be if you believed at the highest level possible that success was inevitable? That's what you fake. Because if you fake it enough, your subconscious becomes wired. It doesn't know what's imaginary and real. Our brain's a very interesting thing, because whatever it focuses on, it feels. Whatever questions we ask it automatically searches for the answer. So if you ask it, oh my gosh, is this going to stay real? It comes up with all the answers of why it might not. You see what I'm saying? I always say that it's easier to pre-launch this keychain. Hey, I'm going to start a new company. We can get rich. You're going to be the first ever. You got to be in it. Can't tell you what the product is, but it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. I mean, it's something that literally it's going to revolutionize the entire industry. Entire industry of what? I'm in. Because see, her imagination's running oh shit, we can build this. We can expand. This is going to be unbelievable. Her imagination is building this path for herself, right? And then her body responds to her imagination. And then the minute we launch it, I'm like, it's this blue key. Go sell the blue key. Her imagination quits working. And now she shifts from where I'm going, vision casting, to what's going to happen, how awesome this is, how much money we're going to make. Oh my God, we're going to be able to pay for our kids' school. To selling the key. Hey, you all should buy the key. I'm just telling you, the key works. It really does. You want to buy the key? Oh, but it becomes a different shift. Yeah. That's why I always say that it's not about where you're at, it's about where you're going. Yeah. So my whole point to that is corny as it may sound, there's not a right way or wrong way to do it. You're either certain or you're uncertain. If you're uncertain, it's going to be painful until you become certain. If you're certain, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be able to handle things a lot differently. So disconnect from all the emotional energy of being liked. Your friends, they already have an opinion of you. I say this all the time. They just might not have told you yet. Yeah. Right? They either like you or they don't. Whether you do something you're super excited about and growing should not, if they're your friend, will not affect their opinion of you. If it does, they weren't your fucking friend. Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. So I would just say get certain. Just get certain. Because the hardest thing to do is you don't get what you want in life. You get what you'll settle for, right? And if you have a goal, it's not about your goal. It's about what you're willing to give up to go achieve that goal, right? Yeah. And, the reality of it is, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, they should want to be on that journey with you. Because I can tell you, if you stay with a significant other and both of you stay here and you're not on the journey of growth together, one person is going to have the burning desire to grow, to do more, to achieve more, to be more significant, to feel more needed, to feel more wanted, to feel more certain in their life. They want some uncertainty, they want some challenge, they want some adventure. And the person, as soon as they go up like that, there becomes an imbalance in the relationship, there becomes conflict, that relationship's getting ready to be over. And that's in friendship, marriage, business relationship, whatever. That's what life's about. Life's about the experiences along the way and the depths of what we grow and learn. We don't grow and learn just out of a book. We grow in the Lord by applying it and experiencing that shit. And once you experience it, you own it forever. Then you have something to give to the world because it's in your body. It's wired. And I think there's a million ways to make $1 million, and I think everyone here has the ability and the talent to do it. You just got to choose what you want to do it with. But the model of making the millions the same: burning desire, belief, commitment, persistence, consistency, and the will to overcome to become. Not everyone has to make the $1 million, right? So a lot of times this $1 million conversation is talked about, and I think people connect to it too much with too much emphasis, so if they don't make it, they feel like a failure. The purpose of it is supposed to be inspiring, but sometimes we glorify the person that might be doing it, but we don't realize what they've had to go through to get there, right? We don't realize that they've gone through hell. But I know for a fact, and I talk about this all the time, I know all of us are dealing with shit in our lives. I mean, I have shit in my life. Are you kidding me? But it's our ability to deal with the problems and make them opportunities and solve them and move through them. That's the difference in someone letting life be for them versus letting life defeat them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're going through stuff. I don't know what you're going through. You've gone through stuff in the last 3 years. You know, you've been scared. You've been nervous. You know, you want to feel safe. There's been times that you haven't felt safe. There's times where but guess what? In your situations might be different than yours, but the feelings and the emotions that are carried with them are the same. And your problems are in proportion to your life, and your problems are in proportionate to you see what I'm saying? Like, my problems aren't less than yours, and yours aren't less than mine. They're both problems. Does that make sense? Like, we both have heartache. We both have tough times. We both have things that... But at the end of the day, 99% of that shit doesn't matter. And that's, as human beings, it's hard for us to disconnect to. Just to go win and go do something. It doesn't mean put our head in the sand, but, you know, it's a mental fortitude that 99% of the things that we worry about doesn't come to fruition anyway. And if it did come to fruition, there's nothing in our power to do to change it. And that's been hard because I like to be in control. Sometimes you just got to let go of the control button and just like live, you know, and go for it and grow along the way. And most people, what stops them is other people's perception of them or their perception of themselves. They don't want to be humiliated, embarrassed, or they won't go talk to their friends passionately about something because Lord knows they don't want their friends to make fun of them or be like, what are you doing? And that's one. Or the mental dialogue that they have with themselves. Well, I can't do that. Like, so it's either internal dialogue or it's the external dialogue that